All right, welcome to the video. Let me put the hat on. This is going to be an interesting one. This is Dr. Greger. How to get a dad? Does sugar lead to weight gain? All right, so this is Dr. Greger shoots himself in the foot. I'm having a fit. Who is Dr. Greger? Dr. Greger is a retired Jewish physician in the USA. He has a multi-million-dollar income per year. He basically gets a bunch of volunteers to gather up nutritional data, and he just cherry picks what things he wants to do a video about and puts them on his website, and he sells books, and he makes millions of dollars every year. But he donates all the money to a non-profit charity, and the irony is that non-profit charity is in his name. So I think it's great to give to charity, but I think if the charity's in your name and you're drawing a big income from it, and you're making millions of dollars, that's fine. But let's be transparent about it. If you're going to do non-profit or Patreon, show us where the money's going. Anyway, I'll digress. I think Greger has some good things to say. He talks about vasectomies. We're on board with that. But this whole sugar leads to weight gain, there's total bullshit, because Greger's diet is almost pure sugar. It's almost pure sugar. The rice and the fruit he recommends and the quinoa are full of fructose, full of sucrose and glucose. People say, no, it's not. No, sucrose is table sugar. Fruit is full of sugar, sucrose. Sucrose is 50% glucose, 50% fructose. So the Greger diet is full of sugar. So when you're saying that sugar leads to weight gain, that's saying your diet makes you fat. That's like saying mercury from fish is bad, but mercury found in fruit is okay. Mercury found on its own is bad, but if you put it in your teeth or put it in your food, that's okay because it's got fiber or it's contained in there. And we know that doesn't make any sense at all. So saying that sugar's bad if you add it to your food, but yet your food's already full of sugar, that's dumb. It's like saying, arsenic is bad if you add it to food, but if it's already in the food, if it's naturally occurring, that's okay. It's crazy. If the arsenic was absorbed in the soil, then that's okay. But if you add the sugar to it, add the arsenic to it, it's just dumb. Anyway, this is going to be a good one. It's not a hate video, but I do feel that Greger deserves his critique. All right, let's get going to it. Sugar lead to weight gain. I'm going to pause the video and debunk Greger on each point.
The obesity epidemic may just be the tip of the iceberg in terms of excess body fat. It's been estimated that 90...
Okay, first point. He talks about fat, over fat. Obesity is excess body fat. Nowhere in this entire video does he mention fat calories, that Americans are eating too much fat. This is about Americans. This is about overweight Americans. All right? Is the overweight American eating too much sugar on their fruit salad in the morning? Is it too much sugar in their chocolate bars that they're smashing every day? So Greger is just totally jumping on the anti-sugar bandwagon. He's not even talking about dietary fat, which we know is the reason. Every gram of fat you eat is the fat you wear. So it's crazy. And the fact that Greger himself denies his fat, doesn't even mention fat, just goes to show he's just looking for some clickbait titles to draw traffic to his website to sell books, which is fine, but let's be honest about it. So he doesn't even talk about fat in the entire video. He just talks about sugar, because sugar is the bad thing at the moment.
1% of adults, 9 out of 10 of us...
Over fat, meaning you've got too much fat, because you're eating too much fat.
69% of children in the United States are quote-unquote over fat, defined as excess body fat sufficient to impair health. That can occur even in normal weight individuals, often due to excess abdominal fat. The way you tell if you're overfat is if your waist circumference is more than half your height. What's causing this epidemic? One primary cause may be all the added sugars we're eating.
Let's just pause it here. Look at the map here we've got. This is, you got Texas. Is Texas famous for meat or for fruit smoothies? Are people in Texas obese because they're having Odwalla fruit smoothies and they're pouring sugar in it? Or is it because of their heart? Where is Heart Attack Grill situated? Is it the sugar in the ketchup at Heart Attack Grill that's making Texans obese? Or is it all the fat Is it the fat that makes people fat? Or is it the sugar that every cell in our body runs on? So he's just straight away jumping on the sugar, not even mentioning fat. Look at Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Alabama, Louisiana. Come on. Obese people in Louisiana eating too much fruit. What's fruit full of? Sugar. People say, oh, but it's got fiber. The sugar still goes in your body. If you eat 500 grams of sugar, that's 2,000 calories a day from your sugar. It doesn't matter if it's fruit or refined sugar. It's 2,000 calories of sugar. All right? If you're eating a low glycemic pineapple or date or banana or a high glycemic sweet potato, it's still sugar. All right? So this is where Gregor just misses the whole thing. He's using these meat-loving, fat-loving states in the US, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Who in Tennessee is eating excess sugar from fruit and rice and putting sugar in their soy milk smoothies of low fatness? Oh, come on, man. Gregor, you lose credibility massively in this. This is almost as bad as your non-profit charity that's in your name.
A century ago, sugar was heralded as one of the cheapest forms of calories in the diet. Just
oil is the cheapest form of calories in the diet. Gregor makes no mention of that. One liter of oil, a couple of bucks, that's 9,000 calories. Oil, 9 calories per gram. Sugar, 4 calories per gram. Half the calories.
Just 10 cents worth of sugar could furnish thousands of calories. Harvard's sugar-pushing nutritionist bristled at the term empty calories. The calories in sugar were not empty, but full of energy.
Exactly. Sucrose is glucose and fructose. Every cell in the human body runs on glucose and or fructose. So to say that sugar is empty calories is a myth. It contains the essential sugars, glucose and fructose. If you don't have glucose, you die. Simple as that. Once your glucose is 0 in your brain, you're dead. And if you don't have fructose, your human sperm can't swim. You know what I mean? So this whole thing that sugar is bad, but when the body runs on sugar, it's just stupid. And Gregor is just dumb as a doorpost. He knows what he's doing, though. He's just jumping on the anti-sugar thing to get some credibility in the dumb world.
In other words, full of calories, which we are now getting too many of.
Too many calories or too much fat? Because if I change my diet from 3,000 calories of sugar, which I pretty much eat last 18 years every day, to 3,000 calories of fat, I'm not going to retain this low body fat, am I? Same calories, but different source. A calorie is not a calorie when it comes of fat or sugar. We know that 3,000 calories a day of fat isn't going to make you look, smell, and feel the same as 3,000 calories of sugar from refined sugar, from fruit, or from white rice. You're not going to feel and perform the same if you have 3,000 calories of fat. So a calorie isn't a calorie in terms of macros. We know that. That's just instinctive. We know that to be true. Easily demonstrated.
The excess body weight of the U.S. population corresponds to about a 350 to 500 calorie excess daily caloric intake on average. So to revert the obesity epidemic, that's how many calories we have to reduce. Okay, so which calories should we cut?
It's this whole thing of reducing calories. No. It's about hormones. Hormones determine weight. If you eat more fat, you develop insulin resistance, which makes you more anabolic. That's why you go to Texas. Go to the rodeo and pick the biggest, heaviest obese person there and say to them, hey, you should do a fruitarian diet. You should just do a Walter Kempton diet. Fruit, rice, and sugar and water. And they're going to laugh you out of the rodeo. They're going to get their 400-pound frame. They're going to go, come here, you skinny little vegan. I'm going to sit on you. I'm going to sit on your ass. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that? Going to Texas or go to Tennessee or Arkansas or Alabama or Kentucky, and tell people, hey, guys, you're eating too many peaches. All the sugar in the peaches is bad for you. You're adding too much sugar to your cereal with your soy milk, your oats. The oats you eat in the morning, when you add sugar to it, you eat too much sugar, yeah. They're going, yeah, cool, man. Come here and sit on you. You're going to have a 400-pound obese heart attack grill patient sitting on you, breaking all your little vegan ribs. So this is just the craziness. But Gregor just loses credibility massively in my eyes in this one. Look how lean I am. Look how lean all the people I am at High Coach. My girlfriends or friends or, look at the Sugar Mountain durianrider fanboys. Right? Look at that. There's a guy there called Vegan Foot Soldier. The guy's like that. and he's a fucking sugar consumer. Look at them all. Look at all the long-term durianrider fanboys and fangirls. They're all super, super lean. Name one who's still not.
That's just how many calories the majority of Americans who fail to meet the dietary guideline sugar limit get in added sugars every day. 25 teaspoons, about 4.
I can't believe Gregor is saying America has an obesity epidemic, a crisis on its hands because of an extra 400 calories of sugar per day. That's only 100 grams. That's nothing. You know? So America's obesity issue is because of white sugar. It's not because of all the fat and the meat and it's not because of that. It's not because they love driving in cars everywhere. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because you can still be a vegan in a car and lose a lot of weight eating sugar. Kempner rice diet. Gregor has the gall, has the nerve to ignore America's meat addiction, fat addiction, oil frying foods. Gregor thinks that New Orleans is the sugar capital of the world. It's the fried food capital of the world. Who loves to eat fried chicken in the South? It ain't sugar water in the South. It's fried chicken. And people look like fried chickens. People resemble a bucket of KFC with little arms and legs sticking out of it. You know? Gregor's just not even talking about that. He's not talking about the fat at all.
400 calories. Even the most diehard sugar defenders like James Rippey, who is reportedly paid $40,000 a month by the high-fructose corn syrup industry, on top of the $10 million they paid for his research, even Dr. Rippey...
Here's the thing though, Gregor, you make millions of dollars a year promoting a vegan agenda, And so people could flip it on you and say, hey, well, this Dr. Gregor guy, we can't trust him because he makes... Literally, Gregor makes millions of dollars a year from his non-profit charity. So you can say, that Dr. Ripper is getting paid by the sugar board. Yeah, fair enough, I agree. But you're doing the exact same thing, and I'm doing the same thing. So we can't really use that argument that, Ripper's just cherry-picking statements that proves sugar doesn't cause obesity, which it doesn't. Sugar doesn't cause obesity. Just ask Dr. McDougall. Go to Kenya, go to Thailand, and look at the leanest cultures. You know this yourself. That a 400-pound Texan isn't fat because of sugar. They're fat because of fat, and that's why they call it fat. So, Gregor, you're making millions of dollars a year from your non-profit charity, and you can't critique someone for making money from promoting sugar. You promote sugar, your diet book and stuff, and so do I. So we're in the same boat altogether.
He considers it indisputable that sugars contribute to obesity. It's also indisputable that sugar reduction should be part of any weight loss program.
Okay, so this Ripper guy fucks it up. He's paid by the sugar board, but then he's saying that sugar's bad, so he doesn't even fucking know. He's as worse as Gregor. Doesn't even know. But Gregor knows. He knows Dr. McDougall. Dr. McDougall weighs in. McDougall, get him on the phone here. Where's McDougall? Get him on the phone.
And of all sources of calories to limit, since sugar is just empty calories, contains no essential nutrients, reducing sugar consumption is obviously the place to start.
So Greg is saying that sugar has no essential nutrients. It does. It has glucose and fructose. The brain runs on that. If glucose and fructose isn't essential, I don't know what is. That's like saying oxygen isn't needed. That the air has no essential oxygen. Like, sugar's essential. If you want to improve your performance, add more sugar to your diet. Do the experiment. I did that. I used to be a sugar phobic. I was like doing my raw food days and I just had my fruit. I remember being in Thailand in 2009 and we're drinking sugarcane juice, fresh cane juice, and Frederick Patnard was there. Some of you might remember Frederick Patnard from the raw food days. And, he was eating some cooked food then, and we were like, he's eating cooked food. He has not become obese. He's eating these vegan noodles. And I said, we started talking about sugar. I said, sugar's bad. And he goes, Harley, do you know how dumb that makes you sound? Like, your whole diet is on sugar. Look at the mangoes you're eating. Look how sweet they are. They're full of sucrose, glucose, fructose. You're drinking sugarcane juice, and you're going to stand there and say sugar's bad because it's cooked? Like, that's just dumb, man. And that Fred was fucking right. And I remember just thinking, man, this dude just fucking owned me. He's damn right. I've got this raw food dogma going on. I'm not being pragmatic at all. And from a metabolic standpoint, from a molecular chemistry standpoint, that he's right. Glucose is glucose no matter where it comes from. Under the microscope, it's a glucose chain. It's, it's a fructose chain. So It just didn't make any sense at all. But so when Greg is saying that, sugar's bad, oh man.
And again, this is what the researchers funded by the likes of Dr. Pepper and Coca-Cola are saying. The primary author, Richard Kahn, is infamous for his defense of the American Beverage Association, the soda industry. He was chief science officer at the American Diabetes Association when they signed a $1 million sponsorship deal with the world's largest candy company.
These are still far less sponsorship deals than Gregor gets from his own website. Gregor is self-sponsored, like I am as well.
Maybe the American Diabetes Association should rename itself the American Junk Food Association. But what do you expect from an organization that was started with drug industry funding? The bottom line is that randomized controlled trials show that increasing sugar's intake increases calorie intake, and this leads to body weight gain in adults, and sugar reduction leads to body weight loss in children.
I agree 100%. In the context of the average American, let's say you have a hospital ward full of average Americans from Texas, from Arkansas, from Tennessee, and you say to them, you can eat anything you want, but you just can't have any sugar. They're like, oh, so no candy bars, no chocolate bars, no Dunkin' Donuts, no Krispy Kreme, no ice cream, no Wendy's ice cream, no sweets. They're not going to say, oh, so I can't have fruit. I can't put sugar in my smooth fruits. I'm a durianrider subscriber, and I ride my bike, and I like being lean and being fit. I can't have sugar in my smoothies anymore. Oh, God. No one's doing that. No obese person's doing that. If they are doing that, they're going to be lean on my advice like they do. So this is where this study's bunk. Where's the context? What do they mean by increasing sugar intake? What, increasing the sugar intake via Snickers bars and Mars bars? We know that the average obese American loves their chocolate. Chocolate, 60% calories from fat. They love their cookies, Oreos, even if they're vegan, 30, 40% calories from fat. So when you say, oh, you can't eat sugar, then instantly you cut out. Here's some vegan ice cream here. This is like 40 grams of fat per little tub. You have one of these a day, that's 280 grams, that's like a kilo a month, that's 10 kilos a year just from a little tub of ice cream. So this whole thing of just like that, it's the sugar. No, man, it's the fat. So if I couldn't have sugar, then I can't have this, and then boom, there goes 10 kilos of fat off my body that I'm no longer eating. And now I'm going, wow, sugar, I've stopped eating the sugar, now I'm not fat anymore. No, it's the fat that was making me fat. That's why they call it fat. So Gregor cites a study that has no context. Context is so powerful, and Gregor knows this. Context is so powerful. Just like if I said, I'll give you $1 million. I'll give you $1 million, but I'd forget to tell you I'm just going to write $1 million on a piece of paper and give it to you. There's $1 million, mate. $1 million of US currency. Now we have context. Increasing sugar by adding it to our fruit smoothies is going to make us lean and fitter. Increasing sugar by having more ice cream and chocolate fatty candy bars and Dunkin' Donuts is going to make us fatter because now we're getting more fat. Does that make sense? It does. Even an 8-year-old kid can understand that.
Children. For example, when researchers randomize individuals to either increase their intake of table sugar or decrease their intake, the added sugar group gained about 3.5 pounds over 10 weeks, whereas the reduced sugar group lost about 2.5 pounds.
Exactly. Because if you say the average American, you can't eat sugar anymore, they're going, oh, okay, I can't have my Krispy Kremes. I can't have so many of my junky, fatty foods I love to eat. So of course you're going to lose weight. But it's not because you cut out sugar, it's because you cut out all the fatty foods that contain some sugar to make it sweet so it's palatable. How many Americans are pouring sugar on their cereal like I do or Natasha does? How many? How many people are getting one of these fruit smoothie things filling up full of bananas and sugar and water? How many obese? No one's doing that. You know what I mean? This is a famous little REI thing. This was Freely's old drink bottle. Do you know how many smoothies she drank through this? And how much weight she lost guzzling sugar banana smoothies? I made hundreds of them for her. All right, so this whole thing that decrease your sugar intake, lose the weight loss. Yeah, if you're eating fucking Snickers bars and Mars bars, I guarantee, but it's not the sugar that you're losing out on, it's all the fat you're cutting out of your diet. Gregor doesn't have this context. He's cherry-picking this study.
A systematic review and meta-analysis of all such ad libitum diet studies, meaning...
I love that word, systematic review of metadata and ad libitum. Like, he just throws out all these little jargon med words, so people, I didn't understand what that meant, but that sounds pretty tech. Oh, Gregor must be right. Gregor The most powerful word that we need here is context. You fail to deliver it in this video. Please add context.
Real-life studies where sugar levels were changed, but people could otherwise eat whatever they wanted, reduced intake of dietary sugars resulted in a decrease in body weight, whereas increased sugars intake resulted in a comparable increase in weight. The researchers conclude that, considering the rapid weight gain that occurs after an increased intake of sugars, it seems reasonable to advise people to cut down. Findings from
Again, where's the sugar coming from? You know, like I've got an itchy nose from cat fur. You see me in the video itching my nose. People go, oh my God, he's got something wrong with his nose. It's the cat fur. So that gives you context. What sugary foods they're eating? The average American, Krispy Kreme, Mars bars, etc. If I got all my calories from Krispy Kreme, I'd be pretty fat pretty quick from all the excess dietary fat. My abs would just be coated in fat. You wouldn't see them anymore.
Observational studies have been more ambiguous, though, with an association found between obesity and sweetened beverage intake, but failing to show consistent correlations with sugary foods. Most such studies rely on self-reported data, however, and obese people tend to underreport sugar-rich foods. One can measure trace.
Again, what obese person have you ever met in your life whose definition of sugar-rich food is a durianrider smoothie with maybe 10 or 20 bananas in there, water and sugar? How many obese people have you met who have done that? I've known so many, thousands of people over the last 18 years who have lost a lot of weight eating high sugar, super low fat vegan. All right. So again, context. If I say it again, context. What is the high sugar food that average people eating? Ice cream, fatty ice creams, chocolate bars, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme.
Sucrose levels in the urine, however, to not only get an objective measure of actual sugar intake, but to exclude contributions from other sweeteners, such as high fructose corn syrup.
And the sugar in the urine is proof that the body pisses out, it urinates out excess sugar, aka type 2 diabetes. Your body's go, okay, we've got too much sugar, pee it out. Excess sugar is not stored as fat. All right? It's just peed out, you burn off by heat. Excess fat, though, not even excess fat, any fat is stored as body fat. Sugar is designed to feed the 100-odd billion cells, trillion cells we have. Excess sugar then goes to muscle glycogen, and if you've, luckily enough you've filled your glycogen for the day, your body just pees it out. Simple as that.
When researchers have done this, they discover that sugar intake is indeed not only associated with greater odds of obesity and greater waist circumference on a snapshot in time cross-sectional.
Again, sugar intake from where? From a Snickers bar? Or from sugar poured into a fruit smoothie? Or from fruit itself? Fruit's full of sugar. Fruit's like 90% calories from sugar.
Basis, but in a prospective cohort study over time. Using urinary sucrose as a measure of sucrose intake, those in the highest versus lowest fifth for sucrose intake had more than a 50% greater risk of being overweight or obese. Denying evidence that sugars are harmful to health has evidently been at the heart of the sugar industry's defense. But when the evidence is undeniable, like the link between sugar and cavities, they switch from denial to deflection, like trying to switch attention from restricting intake to coming up with some kind of vaccine against tooth decay. We seem to have reached a similar point with obesity.
If sugar causes tooth decay, I wouldn't have any teeth left. When I got my crowns fitted to have my cracked teeth and bent teeth protected, it took ages for me to get to see the dentist. Many dentists fully booked out for ages. It took many weeks, many months to get it all done. And I said to the dentist, how many fruitarians come in here? And he's like, what's a fruitarian? I've never met a dentist who knew what a fruitarian was. I would say that poor dental hygiene and the bacteria cause it to decay. Sugar doesn't cause decay. Bacteria does. Poor dental hygiene. All right. There's plenty of people out there who eat no refined sugar have very poor teeth because they have poor dental hygiene. Okay. Stop brushing your teeth. Stop flossing your teeth. Let the bacteria grow in your teeth. Doesn't matter what you're eating. You're gonna have some cavities pretty quick, pretty soon.
With the likes of the Sugar Bureau switching from denial to deflection by commissioning research suggesting obese individuals would not benefit from losing weight, a stance contradicted by hundreds of studies.
This is where I do agree. That's bullshit. If you're obese, lose weight, you'll be healthier.
Across 4 continents involving more than 10 million participants.
So there was one thing that I agreed with Gregor there. if you are obese and you do lose body fat, you're going to have an increase of health and vitality for sure, assuming you do it the right way. If you're just starving yourself and feeling suicidal and that, then that's not the right way. Anyway, that's the deal. The next video we're going to do on is curing type 2 diabetes with white rice and sugar. We've got Dr. McDougall. Most people contradict themselves in their books for what they say on YouTube. Everyone does. I'd say I'm probably the only one who doesn't. If you ever see me contradict myself, please let me know. But McDougall contradicts himself a bit, but I would say McDougall is probably the most legit in terms of reliable, consistent, minimal contradictory advice. The next video we're going to do, we're going to go to veg sauce. We're going to check out this one, and we're going to do an update on that one. The curing type 2 diabetes with sugar and white rice. We're going to see McDougall on there. I'm going to share my comments and criticisms. That's the next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you enjoy context, give the video a thumbs up. If you don't want context, give it a thumbs down. We'll see you next video. Done and dusted. If sugar causes obesity, I'd be obese. On so little training I do, so much sugar I eat. Sugar's self-limiting. You can't eat more than you need. It just gets too sweet, and you're done. You're just like, I'm done. I'm finished. I can't eat any more sugar. Fat, though, you can just sneak it in. Just sneaks into your diet. Fat has no taste. It just sneaks in your diet, and this just causes obesity, causes fat gain. Simple as that. That's why it's called fat. Done deal. Next video. Peace. Carb the fuck up. See you on the road. Gregor, context, please. Non-charity, please promote more transparency. Where's the millions of bucks going? Anyway, see you on the road.